For many of us on Highway 63 in Alex City, the social center of Lake Martin is Russell Crossroads. And a huge part of that is our guest today, naturalist Marianne. She keeps us entertained around Catherine's Market at the Naturalist Cabin. This month, she is focused on things that swim. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Alabama is home to all sorts of beautiful waterways, including beautiful Lake Martin. And Lake Martin is home to all sorts of aquatic creatures, including many species of ducks. And so here are some characters that will be featured in our April shows of things that swim. These aren't wild ducks, they're domestic ducks, but they're able to be handled, the kids can get their hands on them, and we can talk all about the features that help them be such excellent swimmers.
Awesome. Well, they're so sweet. How old are they?
These ducks are about 1 month old, and so they are very young. They are not fully feathered. They still have down on them. And as I mentioned, these are domestic ducks. Typically on Lake Martin, you're going to be seeing wild species of ducks, but the wild species, of course, are wild.
Right.
And these domestic ducks, we can get our hands on them and we can learn all about the features of the wild ducks without interrupting the wildlife.
Okay, well, they should be at home here at Lake Martin. We have lots of places for them to swim and, you know, as you said, the wild species. What else did you bring us today that swim?
Well, there are lots of things that swim. And so birds, mammals, reptiles, insects, fish, and the reptile that you may see quite often while you're out and about on Lake Martin is one of these.
Oh,
and this
precious.
is a baby. This is a yellow-bellied slider. It's a type of pond turtle. And it lives all in Lake Martin, and it gets very large. This one's very young. And so this turtle can get 13 inches or more across.
Yeah.
They're typically carnivorous when they're young like this, but as they mature, they typically only eat plants. And so Lake Martin is just a wealth of food opportunities for them. They are just about completely aquatic. And this time of year, springtime, is when these hatchlings are emerging from the ground. Of course,
from the
ground. Yeah, the mama turtles lay their eggs not in the water, but on the land around Lake Martin, quite a distance from the water, so they don't get flooded and drown the eggs.
Okay.
And then the hatchlings emerge and find their way into the water. So that's what this one is destined to do.
I love it. Okay, well, okay, so we found a swimmer sunbathing on our seawall this week, and could you talk to us and educate us a little bit about those water snakes?
Yes, Alabama is home to many species of snakes, and many of them are aquatic, and snakes, despite the lack of limbs, are excellent swimmers. And there are 2 species of snake that you're liable to see quite frequently in Lake Martin, and one of them is the banded water snake, which is completely harmless. People often mistake them for venomous species, but they are not a venomous species. The water moccasin is a venomous species, which if you're not sure what you're looking at, you may think that the water moccasin or a cottonmouth is the one sunning itself, but more often than not, it's the harmless banded water snake, and those are eating frogs and minnows, and none of the snakes want to harm you, but even the venomous snakes would rather be left alone.
Okay, so I have seen a snake in the water once. What is your recommendation instead of what is natural for some of us to do, go like our grandmother did and get like a hoe or something after our snake? What would you recommend we do if we see one both on land or in the water?
My best recommendation is just to give it a wide berth and leave it alone, because it's either going to be a non-venomous snake who has a very important job of eating all the little critters.
Yes.
And even if it's a venomous snake, it really would rather be left alone. And so my best recommendation is to give it a wide berth. Venomous snakes are not typically going to be coming after you. They're not aggressive. They don't want to eat people. They don't eat people. And so they want to be left alone. And it's best to just teach, even especially children, to give all snakes a wide berth, unless they're here with me at the cabin and they can handle them safely.
Okay.
A lot of the animals we learn about here at the cabin aren't as charismatic as some of the others. They don't have the curb appeal of soft and cuddly creatures, but we can still learn from them. An example of an animal that's found everywhere in Russell Forest and right here around the cabin and in your own backyard that kids love to get their hands on is this simple earthworm.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is a humdinger coming out after the rain, but you know, these worms serve a very important purpose. Oh, absolutely. Please hold it.
Okay.
These worms serve a very important purpose of helping biodegrade plant matter and turning the soil. They are natural tillers. And in addition, they're an excellent food source for just about all the other animals that we learn about. And so there are large animals that are a bit more eye-catching that we can learn from, but sometimes it's even more beneficial to gain an appreciation for what you can dig up under a rock right in your own backyard.
I love it. That is so true. Okay, so y'all have a fun event always coming up. What is coming up first weekend of May here?
In May, we're celebrating Derby Day. The
Oh.
Kentucky Derby is a big event, and we have excellent activities planned here at Russell Crossroads. First of all, in the morning from 10 to 2 on May 7th, we'll have a gentle horse here for kids to touch, groom, and learn from. We'll talk about horse anatomy, we'll talk about basic horse care and manners and safety around horses, and it just gives a chance for children to come up close and see a large animal that can be intimidating, and it'll be a gentle one that they can learn from. And then that afternoon at the stables, we have the Kentucky Derby Day party. That starts around 4 p.m. And you can come to that and drink a mint julep and wear your hat and watch the race.
I love it. Okay, well, will he be here?
He will not be here. He will be released momentarily.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day and he has a great day, and thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for your interest and thanks for learning.